gluten-free, high-protein, vegan meal prep. That's what you guys asked for, and I delivered. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to hit your protein on a vegan diet, but gluten-free as well. Now, you guys know I love my gluten. I love seitan. I love using Vital Wheat gluten, and it's something that is a huge staple in my diet, and it's one of my main sources of protein. But I know a lot of you guys have like celiacs or just are intolerant. So I developed this little meal prep for you guys. So for breakfast, I made my raspberry protein oatmeal bake. For lunch, I made rainbow sushi bowls. And for dinner, I made protein pasta salads. As always, make sure to look at the description box below for all the macro breakdown and full recipe description. So the biggest tip that I can give you when it comes to meal prepping is to start off with the things that are going to take the longest. This is my number one tip because you want to be efficient and quick and not spend all day meal prepping. So I'm gonna start off with my breakfast, which is my favorite raspberry protein baked oatmeal dish. This recipe is from my cookbook, Fit Vegan Kitchen, where I share high protein fit vegan recipes. What I love about this recipe is that it's super easy. We're literally gonna toss all the ingredients into the bowl, mix them together, and then place them in the oven. Forget about it, and while that's baking, we're going to work on our other meals. We're gonna add oat flour, rolled oats, flax and chia seeds, cinnamon, baking powder, and salt. 2 scoops of Veg Nutrition plant protein. I'm using the frosted cinnamon roll. Code Natalie saves you 15% off. We're gonna mix all of our dry ingredients together, and then we're going to mix our wet ingredients. This is just plant-based milk, and then some applesauce. The applesauce is such a great way to add sweetness. You can substitute the applesauce for banana or whatever puree you like. Usually during the fall time, I like using pumpkin puree. So you can have a lot of fun with the toppings. I like using raspberries, chocolate chips, and some fresh blackberries. You could use fresh, you could use frozen. This is just what I have in hand. And I'm just gonna make sure that I split it evenly throughout and kind of like dab it in. You can also use bananas, dry fruit, even like walnuts or pecans, whatever you like. All right, that looks really pretty. I'm going to place it in the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes. And while this is baking, I'm gonna start working on my lunch. So now we're gonna work on our epic sushi bowls, and these are packed with protein, and they're so versatile. Like, you literally can pick your favorite veggies and bases. So I'm gonna be using for my protein horu tofu, which is my favorite tofu in the entire world. And I'm going to be using quinoa instead of rice today, but usually I use like sushi rice or jasmine rice or black rice. So you can change this base up however you want. So all I'm gonna do is cook the quinoa and cook the tofu, and I'm gonna show you how I prepare the tofu. It's so good. And while this is cooking, we're gonna prep the veggies. So really important, I love rinsing my quinoa. Even when it says it's already been triple rinsed, it just takes some of the bitterness off. So I rinse my quinoa. Here I have a cup of quinoa, and I'm gonna put 2 cups of liquid, and it could be water or vegetable stock, and a little bit of salt. So I'm gonna bring it to a boil, cover it up, and then let it simmer for about 15 minutes or until all the liquid is absorbed. So I'm using extra firm tofu, and what I'm doing right now is super easy and simple to prepare. All I'm going to do is cut this into like little triangle pieces and cover it in furikake seasoning. I love the seasoning so much. It's just basically like sesame seeds and some seaweed. It's just really yummy, and it's perfect for this recipe. So it should give you about 6 triangles per serving, which comes out to be about 100 grams of horu tofu. So we're gonna spray it lightly and then cover it in furikake. So I normally get this at Trader Joe's, but if you can't find it online or on Amazon, you can make your own. It's basically white sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, nori, salt, and kelp powder, and that's it. So now I have everything placed in the air fryer. I'm going to pop it around 375 for about 15 minutes, check it, flip it, and then see if it needs a little bit more time. I really like my tofu almost getting too burned because it gets super fluffy and like crunchy on the outside and chewy on the inside, and it's just epic. So let's prepare our veggies. All we have to do is cut, slice, or shred. So I'm gonna share with you my favorite way of doing that. So I already have here shredded carrots. I always like keeping veggies already ready to go so I can toss them in any of my meals at any point. And I have here some cut up beets. You guys know I'm obsessed with beets and cabbage. So let's start out with the cabbage, and I'm gonna show you my favorite hack of using the food processor to do this. So you wanna make sure to cut your cabbage in a way that will fit into the feeder of the food processor. So we're gonna use this slicer setting. So on this side, you see there's a slicer, and here is the shredder. So you want the slicer to be on top. And we're just gonna feed it through. Check that out, guys. So if you're somebody that's into making your own sauerkraut, this is a way to save some time. But I just love keeping raw cabbage. Again, if I have veggies all ready to go, I'm more likely to use them up. So this will not just work for today's sushi meal prep, but I'll also have some ready to go in my fridge. So we had it on the slicer. Now we're gonna flip it to use that shredder. I'm telling you, this is the best way to shred your beets. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a whole mess. Right, so this is how we cut mangoes in Puerto Rico. This is not a Puerto Rican mango though. So we want to get as close to the pit as possible. Looks pretty good. Looks really ripe. And then you can cube it like this. And then you can cut it into your bowl. I love mango in sushi bowls, but another great substitute would be sweet plantains, like baked sweet plantains, or even pineapple. Since we need to wait for the tofu and the quinoa to cool completely down before assembling everything, I'm going to start working on my miso dressing that's gonna go with these sushi bowls. So I'm using the oat milk skier from Icelandic Provisions. This is wild. It has 16 grams of plant-based protein, and it's really nice and it's super creamy and the perfect base for this dressing. So I am going to use a little bit of this. And if you can't find this brand, you can use the Kite Hill plant-based protein yogurt or any yogurt that you like. Just make sure that it's plain. We're gonna add a little bit of miso. You wanna make sure that you're using white miso paste and about 2 teaspoons of coconut aminos. So this is completely optional, but I'm just going to add a little drop of maple and a little bit of salt. Sometimes you have to go back, taste, and adjust. Now, something that would pair really well with this would be some ginger. So if you have some fresh ginger or fresh garlic, feel free to toss it in that sauce, and it's gonna be so good. So it's time to assemble the sushi bowls. And while I was leaving the tofu to completely cool off, I drizzled a little bit of coconut aminos, and that's what got it really nice and glossy. And since it was like hot and like cooling down, it absorbed all the flavors really nicely. So the reason why I am only doing 4 servings for the week is because I want to make sure that things stay well throughout the week. And sometimes after 4 days, things just start to get a little bit iffy. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're like, Natalie, these meal prep videos are amazing, but I don't have time for cooking. I don't want to make time for cooking, or I just hate cooking. So I wanted to provide you guys with an alternative. And that's why I'm partnering today with Purple Carrot. And hey, I get it. I have some weeks that are busier than others, and in those weeks, I take advantage of my Purple Carrot prep meals, and I'm able to stick to my goals, eat more plants, and hit my protein targets. They have options for everyone, which is amazing. And they have a great culinary team as well. All the meals just taste really, really good. And trust me when I say this, guys, I've tried and tested multiple brands over the years, and I always always go back to Purple Carrot. I've been using them since 2018 and I just love them. They have high protein options, low calorie options, high calorie options, a little bit of everything. They're adding even more meals to the prepare meal section, which I'm really excited to try their new like summer meals. And if you feel a little bit adventurous, then maybe try some of their meal kits. So the meal kits do require some cooking, but the cool thing about them is that they come with a recipe booklet that all you have to do is follow and that's it. And it comes with like the actual meal kit, so you don't have to go grocery shopping or anything like that. Literally just cut, chop, and follow the recipe. Easy as that. They also have an amazing pantry section and I get to order my favorite tofu, Hodu tofu, in bulk. They have vegan cheeses in there, vegan donuts, all different things, a little bit of everything for everyone. If you guys want to try out Purple Carrot, make sure to use the code FITCHEF25 to get $25 of your first box. And thank you Purple Carrot for sponsoring today's video. So breakfast is ready, so I'm just gonna place it in the meal prep containers and add some fruit. I want to take advantage of the amazing fruit that's available right now. So I am also using some kiwis, jumbo strawberries. As you guys can see, that one whole thing is so massive. And same thing, you want to make sure that everything is cooled down before you're covering it so it doesn't steam in there when you cover it. Look at how amazing these are. I love making meal preps that are very colorful and that I rotate veggies, fruits, all the things, so I get a nice variety of everything. So the last meal that we're meal prepping today is going to be a protein pasta salad, and it's gonna have some kale, some lentil pasta, and I'm gonna make a rich, creamy dressing with soy-free tofu. So I just cleaned my kale, and what I'm gonna do now is squeeze about half of a lemon. We're gonna add a little bit of salt, and we're just gonna massage it. This is gonna help the kale break down, and it's gonna be easier to digest, and it's just gonna be much more enjoyable. And as you can see, that literally shrunk in half. So I'm gonna be using soy-free tofu as the base of this recipe, and this is a great alternative for those of you that are trying to stay away from soy or have a gluten-free alternative. It has 16 grams of protein per serving, highly recommend. So I'm just gonna add it in. I have here 3 roasted cloves of garlic. We're gonna squeeze half of a lemon. And we're gonna add some tahini, some salt, and 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, half a cup of water, and 1 date. Now we're gonna add an extra half a cup of water, and this is now because everything's all well combined and broken down evenly, so now we get to add a little bit more liquid until achieving the consistency that I want. All right, so now I have my sauce, I have my protein pasta already made and cooled down, and then all of the stuff that I'm going to assemble. Let's spread this evenly between all of the containers. And I told you guys, I always have veggies already prepped, so I have a ton of peppers here that I want to use up. So I'm gonna add a little bit just to add more color. I also have a little bit of onion and some vegan feta. And just to make it pretty, I'm gonna throw a little bit of cilantro in there. And that's it. This is how I make my protein pasta salads. And the cool thing about these is that when you're ready to eat them, all you have to do is place a plate on the top, flip it, and then the dressing just coats everything. All right, guys, so our breakfast today has 26 grams of protein, lunch has 34 grams of protein, and dinner has 35 grams of protein. Now, obviously, this whole entire meal prep is only 1,300 calories, and your girl eats. So what I like to do is I meal prep my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I kind of, see what I'm feeling for during the week in terms of my snacks that go in between each of these meals. So for example, I might do my protein peanut butter donuts. If you want the recipe for that, I'm gonna link it up here. It's in a YouTube short and it's super, super delicious. And because I need to use the water from a can of chickpeas for that donut recipe, I'm going to use the chickpeas to make some hummus, and then I can have hummus sandwiches with my lupini bean seitan. So that's how I would like fill out the rest of my calories, because right now I'm eating roughly anywhere from 21 to 2200 calories. My staples for the week are all done, and that makes it super easy and convenient. So if you guys are planning on giving this high protein, gluten-free vegan meal prep a try, let me know in the comment section down below if you tried it, what you liked about it, and what you're adding to fill out the rest of your calories. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!